So one thing to think about is communication. There's a few different ways that you can do that, right? There are some things called smart sheets that you can use, and it really just communicates a ton of information from the front end to the back end. There's also generic ones that you can have made and customized for your own shop. So there's just some information that's important for everyone to know, right? So what's the RO for this job? That could be important information from anyone from the painter to the body tech. I mean, it's important. So we're gonna put that on. And again, I probably should mention, this is an auto writer. There's a few different brands. There's different colors you can buy. You can use the ones that you prefer best, but another important piece of information is what day did the car come in and what day is the car supposed to leave. If you're a painter and you know that the car is supposed to leave in 2 days or 1 day or a week, you can prioritize what jobs need to go through the booth first and last. Also, insurance company, right? So depending on your shop and what arrangement you've kind of worked out with different direct repair programs, things like that, there may be certain procedures that you automatically and instinctively know need to happen because it's a car that's with a certain insurance company. So also important information to put on the sheet. And then who's assigned to the job? So, I mean, traditionally these sheets are filled out in the front office and it's really for everyone else to see, but it is kind of helpful to have everybody in the shop have access to a pen. So if things change over time, you can update the sheet. Photos on file. Do you need photos? Was the pre-scan done? Post-scan? What codes are there? Are there any things that should be considered? So these sheets are kind of nice because it's kind of already pre-printed for you. There's really no thought process there. Other things that are kind of important to think through is where is the damage, right? Auto writers come in a variety of different colors, and sometimes shops will use these on the actual panel itself. Some shops don't because they've got ghosting experiences where, you know, they find, you know, if it's a white car and you've got a red marker, sometimes you can get some ghosting or impressions from the pen. But these sheets are kind of nice because you can actually mark the damage that needs to be repaired on the car shape. So here we've got a fender, so and the front, so we're going to mark the car. Also an area just for random notes. If there's a sublet, if there's a glass company coming in or different things like that, it's helpful to know, so you can write that there. If there's rental, important to put that in there. Parts carts, if you're using parts carts, you can kind of assign what parts cart number goes with the car. Really the whole purpose of this is just to communicate information visually so that no one has to like go back and forth within the shop to figure that out. The shop we're at today actually has, in this case we actually have the parts for this car today, but they do have cool signs. This is really visual. You can see this from across the shop that, hey, this car isn't ready, we need parts. And if there are parts that you're waiting on, you can certainly put that in the notes section. So for some shops, using those adhesive repair order or like communication charts, it's just not going to happen in your shop. What I like to do is kind of get the whole crew together. The people that are really the decision makers or people that are going to be walking through the shop, get them all together in a circle and talk about what kind of information do you need. So like the prepper, the painter, the body tech, the estimator, the production manager, have a group discussion about what information you all need to know. Because the painter needs to know the paint code. The body tech may or may not care about that, right? The estimator may or may not care about that. So like everyone has pieces of information that are important to them. And I've seen a variety of different ways to communicate things. Some shops will do kind of like a hashtag. And what they'll do is maybe they'll decide, all right, we need the RO. They'll put the RO. Typically, these grids will be put on the windshield just because it's the least likely piece of glass that'll get replaced. And it's really important to kind of create a standard kind of operating procedure for your grid. That way, if you're the painter, you kind of know what squares you need to look at. If you're the estimator, you know where you're looking on the grid. But have a discussion with your team and talk about what's important. If you guys do a lot of sublet or a lot with different rental companies or different insurance companies, those kinds of things might be important. So maybe you have your insurance company here, you have your RO, you have the in, the out, the tech, sublet, scan codes, right? So, and some shops will even have like different symbols and things that are just quick to use. Like, are there parts here? You know, so P if the parts are here with a check. If there's no check, maybe there's no parts. You can kind of make it your own, but it's a great visual way for people to know what's going on. Some estimate companies even have some sheets that you can actually print off. So like CCC has a printable that you can actually print off that has the RO, the paint code, and like a few other nuggets of information. So in those cases, what I usually see are people doing kind of an X pattern. Because that sheet has so much information and it's usually taped to the front glass, they'll just accompany it with an X grid to say, all right, we just need a few pieces of information. What is that? And it might just be the scan code. So like, you know, like you put what you need where you need it.